Peace and love, family. It's your girl, Sixthegoddis. And keep in mind, I'm a goddess and I'm sensitive about my shifts. Hope y'all are doing well. I am doing amazing. How do y'all like the new background? Okay. Now, I kind of miss my Dragonstone villain background, and we may pop that in here and there. I thought it was time for some refreshing, some color. I got a new lens. So I was getting tired of getting flamed in the comments. Y'all was in the comments talk about this video look like it's from the 99 and the 2000s. And I said, I just can't do this anymore. Okay. So with a little help from Geek Squad, all right, we are doing much better now. So I hope y'all are liking the new setup. And, what better way to break in the new lens, the new camera, and this new setup than to do a good old Caucasian dragging? You get what I'm saying? I'm like, ooh, I feel inspired. So we're going to talk today about how, y'all, you cannot make this up. The way that these people are crumbling needs to be studied. Now, why I wanted to make this video is because I've learned with Dwights is you have to show them. You can't tell them. The words are not going to do anything. They have to see for themselves. Now, I want you all to know that for quite literally centuries, we have been gaslit and we were told that everything that happened to us was so long ago and nothing's holding us back now. And that we're holding ourselves back and that we all just need to work harder and that a system can't hold you back. It's just you doing it. And that we should all just work harder like everybody else had to do and work our butts off. Anytime you try to speak on why our relationships are strained, why we struggle to cooperate, why our families are broken, why we're behind economically, we are gaslit for centuries and we're told that that's not true. That was so long ago and it's different now. There's so much opportunity now. So to see those same Dwights now suddenly when our economy is quite literally, I can't even say crashing. I've never seen us like this before. And I'm so sensitive. The other day I was driving down the road and I'm like stuck in a weird place where there's like random traffic, like a long line of cars. And I was like, what is this? I'm, what is this traffic? What's the holdup? And when I got around the traffic, it was people in line for free food. Okay, so never in my lifetime, and I'm a millennial. I'm a millennial. We've been through everything. We was there before the internet, during its development, after the internet, 9/11, everything. We've been through it all. And in my lifetime, I've never just seen in majority where that is the case. So let's not even get started on that. So now, all of a sudden, the whites are not only admitting that a system can hold you back, but they are now crumbling and going so far as to say that the reason why they're not able to obtain the American dream anymore is because they are the white and that the system is now against the white man. The white man has been self-proclaimed oppressed for about 3 to 5 years. And he's already saying that the reason why he can't get to where he needs to go is because of this 3 to 5 year DEI and everything like that. That is just now they're calling it like Jim Crow against the white man, which is so interesting. Okay, because it kind of goes back into when just men, regardless of color, complain about systems like the family court system. And it's like, well, you do know it, was created by a man. So it's so interesting now to see the whites complaining about the system that they created. But many things, and in my opinion, primarily COVID, when most of society genuinely thought we could shut the world down and that time was going to stop. Never in history, I don't give a damn if it was Ebola, bird flu, Spanish flu. We ain't never shut the world down because of a flu with some bop in it. And I was wondering, I did a podcast episode about this when, the whole pandemic started. And I was like, I'm not worried about the bop. I'm worried about the mental effects, the social effects, and the economic effects. You can't shut down the world. Time keeps going. And now they have us in a forever game of catch up. So centuries of slavery, Jim Crow, supremacy, segregation, all of that was in our heads and it's not affecting us. But 3 to 5 years of eliminating DEI is now why the white man is the target and why he can't get ahead. So we are going to break down this monologue, I guess you want to call it, from Tucker Carlson with all the white man tears. And we're going to just kind of break down this, oh, not you. And there's a lot of lessons that we're about to pick up in this. It's a lot of discussions that have to be brought up. So we're going to go ahead and bring this on. I'm going to be popping in. I'm going to be interrupting a lot because I have to, add my commentary in for using this video. So you'll see me stop it pretty often. If you want to see it without any pauses, then go watch it on your own. Also, do not mind my cat in the background. He has zoomies right now. Okay. He's my background dancer. So try to pay him no mind. So let's get into the video. Before we get into the video, let's get into today's look. Okay. So I have a women's only Patreon. Y'all don't see me on here that much. It's because I be in my Patreon. I have a women's only Patreon where I get ready for all of my content live. I show how I do my hair, makeup, every product I use, technique, all of that. I do not gatekeep. And while I'm getting ready, we have all type of different discussions about anything in regards to women, children, motherhood, relationships, family, wifehood, sisterhood. Very helpful dialogue, conversations that we have. It's a great community of women from all different walks of life, all over the world, who are solution oriented. Okay. And we have get-togethers. We do Zoom meetings. I have all type of exclusive content and videos that is just for the Patreon. So if you are tired of being mean and ugly, okay, come to death row, baby. I would love to have you. I also have a second separate Patreon called 6 at 6. The description box will have the link to both of my groups. 6 at 6 is simply a once a week live show in which I give my commentary on different viral topics, current events, react to different content. And that's for the fellas and the ladies. And it's just a great once a week way to kind of tap in with me. And we have a great time in there. So I would love to have you come see me. And without further ado, let's get started on this. And let's just sit here and observe how supremacy is quite literally eating itself. So I'm going to pull this up and let's get started. Now, I'm warning y'all right now. Cringe level 1000, just so you know. This is about to, and no, this is not satire. And yes, he's dead serious, by the way.
What kind of world have they grown up in? These young white men. Well, they've grown up in, over the last 10 years, a world that hates them. And not in a subtle way. Openly, with a Hutu-like directness and ferocity.
Do you know, I've been saying this for the longest, that the white man is naturally psychopathic. I don't care what anyone says. Do you know the level of self-awareness you have to lack? Do you know how out of touch with reality you have got to be? Do you know how broken the receptors in your brain have to be for the entire world to tell you that you're the problem? The entire world is saying you're oppressive, colonialism, genocide, greed. The whole world is saying that the white man is the gatekeeper of all things harmful and negative to society. And instead of saying, hey, well, if the entire population of the world agrees that the white man is at the top of this whole game, maybe we should change and hold each other accountable and stop being so fragile as to constantly have to have our foot on the neck of anybody who don't look like us so that we can maintain a good distance in front of them because we're actually super fragile and mediocre and not even fully human. And we need that advantage. Instead of y'all saying that, you turn it into victim Olympics. The whole world hates us. Oh my God, how could they hate us? Wow. Instead of saying, yep, we are the inception point, the maintainers and the carriers of everything negative in this world. We have spearheaded every atrocity to mankind. Instead of them saying that and knowing that they still benefit from that, there ain't nothing you can do about the white man. They're sitting here crying, saying they're the most hated. And then what? The white man. What happens next? After everybody hates you and is mean to you, how is that stopping your life? How is it changing anything for you? You're the face of everything negative in this world, and your only response is, so y'all don't like me? So I have the problem. Y'all don't like me? Wow. If a Dwight man is on your behind, who do you go to about him? Another Dwight man. And instead of looking at how y'all need to change, or how about even just start to leave people alone? Every time it's a mass shooting, act of terrorism, it's one of y'all that is the face of it. You complain about the Black community when the Black community does not harm you. Crime is a matter of proximity. You all in the Black community business about what we do to each other, which there's a reason why we have this behavior that you refuse to acknowledge. You'll sit there and say, oh, no. On Black crime, y'all are the problem. You have no issue holding everyone else accountable. But all of a sudden, when it comes to y'all, it's we're mean to you and y'all hate us. That's what you get from it. Wow. And that is why their women run from them in droves. That is why their women created feminism. I tell sisters all the time, their own women run from them and protest against them in droves. You're not about to go over there when their women are running away and go over there and be like, why are you not going away? It's fine. The water's great. No, baby, it's sharks in there. Okay. So what a psycho. The way that they think. Wow, they're so out of touch. And the other problem is the white man only sits around with another white man to talk about this. Because a part of supremacy is they think they are entitled to be smarter than other people. They create systems like the IQ system, the same way they create stupid sports that require no athleticism so they can excel in the sport. They've done the same thing with the mental game and have invented the concept of IQ to convince themselves that they are smarter than everyone else. The white men always have a smug, authoritative undertone to them where they always think that they're the voice of reason and they know best, which in itself is racist. So there is no accountability. There is no self-awareness because y'all never know how to humble yourself, sit down, be a student, and learn something. You're too narcissistic and too psychopathic to ever think that, yeah, I am the problem and we're wrong. And we all still benefit from who we are to this day. There is no, all of that happened a long time ago. No, it's still happening now. You're complaining that no one likes you. Well, what happens to you? People do not understand the difference between systemic racism and someone not liking you or not preferring you. No, it is about who has the power to impact somebody else's life. But now all of a sudden that the yarmulkes are throwing their weight around to you, now the white man is over here on some we are the world, look at this atrocity. Okay? Now, all of a sudden, y'all are over here like, oh my God, look at them. They run everything. Now it's a problem because you're suffering economically. Now it's a problem because information is going viral on TikTok and it's much easier to get on hold to. So now we're admitting that the white man has the power to affect your well-being and your life. Now that they are literally y'all in the neck in broad daylight for not obeying them, now you see the problem with it. Now you see what it's really like. And then the yarmulke people come over here and they hold your hand and they pray with you and they say, I'm your friend, I love you, let's pray. And y'all are like, yeah, we understand that, but how about freedom of speech? How about if we just refuse to kiss your behind, that we don't lose our jobs, that we don't lose our lives? That's what we're focused on. And the yarmulkes are like, no, pray, God, I love you. So now y'all are seeing about what systemic racism is really about. It was never about someone being nice to you and liking you. Who gives a no grown adult gives a fuck if you like them or not. Hey, I'm your friend. Yeah, that's nice. Hey, do you think that you could maybe not have me never be able to work again and blacklist me in the media if I don't just advocate for you and do whatever you say? No, we can't do that, but give me your hand. I'm your friend. Come here. And now they're learning that. It was never about who liked you or who was nice to you. Oh, please. It was always about who has the power to affect your life. And now that y'all on the opposite end of that, now that's suddenly a reality. It's rich. Okay, let's continue.
They've grown up in a country that has systematically, in law, excluded them from the workplace, from education, from federal grants, and has told them again and again and again, no, we're not discriminating against you, and yes, you deserve it.
Imagine. I'm sorry, I'm trying to take this seriously, but I want to just laugh so bad. Imagine being the inception place of every system that puts you at an advantage over everyone else. Imagine being the group of men that invented the GUN so that you could mow people down in mass. And ultimately, the white man's invention of the gun is how he came into power. If we really go back to the inception of it all, everybody else in the world was skilled on warfare. We had warriors like Hannibal that would sit there and put spears on his elephant to defeat his enemies. We were always strategists when it came to war. It never even occurred to us of how to just mow people down with no type of skill, no type of talent, no type of thought behind it. That was never us. It was always an art of war. So the real way y'all got here was by inventing the gun, throwing your weight around with that. You created every single system to keep yourself ahead of the game. Then when we get to present day and the world says, listen, y'all made this whole system to benefit y'all, okay? If y'all ain't got it figured out by now, if y'all ain't got no money by now, if you broke, it's your daddy's fault. Y'all have had plenty of opportunity that you created, that your forefathers created. And when the world says, listen, if y'all still broke or struggling after that, you're on your own. We're going to take whatever funds we have in spite of y'all system holding us back. We're going to take whatever we have and use it to the people who never got the advantage. And all the white man gets from that is, so you hate me. Imagine being in a famine and one person for a week straight was eating all the food in the fridge, just getting fat, eating all the food. And then when the rest of the family says, hey, you've been eating all week, like we're hungry too. Can we get a sandwich? And you say, oh, so you don't care if I eat today? Like what? And that's exactly what's going on with the white man. It is so interesting to see. Let's continue.
Imagine growing up like that. And again, this isn't.
Is saying, I'm so sorry, y'all. This man is saying, imagine growing up in a world where everyone discriminates against you, thinks you're dangerous, and hates you. Welcome to the life of the average Black person. This white man did not just say, imagine growing up in a world where everybody stereotype you and think you're bad. Imagine growing up in a world where everyone discriminated against you, which confirms what I've always known, and that is that the white man would not last a week in our shoes. Boy, the white man wouldn't last a week before he would be offing everybody and himself. Okay? The fragility is crazy. You're going to look at the American people and look at black people and say, imagine growing up where the whole world thinks you're bad and discriminates against you. When we have ancestors like Trayvon Martin, who was walking home in my hometown in Sanford, Florida, with Skittles and some lemonade, minding his business, and was approached on some, who are you? What do you want? When he literally was just black walking down the road. You're going to sit in our face and say, imagine, baby, I'm going to hold your hand with a glove because your skin probably smells like wet hot dog water. So I am going to put a glove, put a little barrier, maybe a COVID mask before I hold your hand. After I hold your sulfur-ridden skin hand, your little pink fingers, okay? I'm going to look in your eye and tell you, sweetie, this has been our life. It's always been our life. And it's been that way because of y'all. Okay? Read the room. All right? Imagine being this out of touch. So interesting.
Behind the scenes, this is way out in the open. And not only has it done exactly that to young white men, of course, white men being the one group who are officially excluded under DEI. There's only one, it's white men, white straight men.
So then imagine, once again, being the inventors of white supremacy, imagine having your own men be the majority of CEOs, COOs, and everybody else who has any type of hiring power or any type of power to put you in position in life and jobs and education. Imagine being at the forefront of that as the white man. And then imagine when people say, hey, y'all are only hiring each other. You're only looking after your brother. Like, you're not, there's other people, that need these positions. And imagine your response being, instead of the reality that there's plenty of other people who are smarter than you, better than you, and more capable than you. Imagine, instead of accepting and understanding that, instead, what you get from it is, oh, DEI, you're excluding us. Imagine, because think about what that means. What that ultimately means is that you think you are so smart. You think that you are so much better than everybody else. Where if you're not given a position, it must be because DEI. When your company, owned by a white man, in majority puts other men that look like him in position and have done this for centuries. Imagine someone stepping in and saying, hey, you can't just hire your brothers only. All right. You gotta come on now. These are the most slow, mediocre people on the planet. You mean to tell me they're the ones getting all the jobs? And instead of you humbling yourself and understanding that, what you get from it is, oh, it's DEI. Yeah, because we just so smart and doing so much better that, yeah, we were just blowing everybody else out the water. Imagine that that's what you get from it. And we see more and more in how they handle things, why their women are running from them in droves. I see it more and more each day.
It's not whining. And by the way, this happens to be the one group in America who, by and large, have been taught for cultural reasons, don't whine. Don't talk about yourself so much. No one wants to hear your story. And whatever you do, don't be the victim. All of that's good advice, by the way.
Well, sir, that's whining. And the reason this is so insane to me, there's something seriously wrong with y'all. And lately, I don't play with them at all. If I'm out somewhere and a white boy even remotely look mad, I leave. If I see a white boy and anything in him remotely look angry, I'm finna go. I'm out of there. And don't let him have a backpack. Because the way y'all mind work truly need to be studied. Sir, this is whining. Okay? And the reason why nobody wants to hear what you're talking about, once again, is because this is the system you created. The lack of self-awareness. The reason why no one want to hear you whine, this is your shit. How you gonna whine about your own seeds and soil that you sowed? But how does that not occur to y'all? How is y'all interpretation of that? They saying we're whining. That's so interesting to me. Like, that's what y'all got from it. Wow.
But this group has not only been excluded with the force of law by the Justice Department in every state and at every college and university, with maybe 3 exceptions. They've been mocked and attacked and lectured and harangued and screamed at. Every bookstore in America had books on display. Whiteness is the problem. Well, what if you're white? What if you're like 9?
Yeah, exactly. Then you need to sit down and read it and learn about how you ain't. Imagine having your foot on the neck of the whole world, and then when the world speaks on it, y'all are like, but my feelings, but I'm white. Imagine people are dying, Kim. Imagine the state of the world. And the whites are like, well, what about me though? Wow. Which goes back to what I've been trying to tell people. The white people do not know how to interpret indifference towards them. They don't know how to take accountability. They don't know how to have indifference. When the whole world is like, we don't care about what you got to say to white man. All this is your fault, which it is. You started all of this. And when the world say, we don't want to hear it, bye. We don't want to hear from the problem about the problem. Your only comeback is, well, that hurts my feelings. What about 18-year-old Dwight? Oh, I'm sorry, Dwight, man. I'm sorry, Tyler. Okay. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Hunter. Let's all be quiet about it, guys, because we would not want to hurt Cody's feelings, y'all. Okay. Hey, entire world, let's not speak about it. All right. Because we would never, ever, ever want Caden to feel hurt. What we would want is for young white men to understand who they are. So I would say so that they could be better, but I don't waste my time on that because I understand that y'all war is a genetic and scientific war. I don't fault the white man for being who he is. Of course, it's a matter of survival. And we're about to see that because we got the Tuckers and the Nick Fuenteses now saying, oh, these are fighting words. Oh, they're out to get us. There's a war on us. And the minute that these white men even think in majority, there is an actual war on them, and oh my God, our bodies are going to drop. They are the real crash outs of the world. Half of the time, they can't even leave their marriages without themselves, the wife, and all the kids. So imagine what's going to happen as this mass awakening is happening, and we're over here putting out the flyer, the fire, while the white man over here with a box of matches still talking about, yeah, y'all keep going, work harder. Don't look over here, though. He calls and he fanning the flames. Okay. So we're about to see what it's really about. All the black people that think that because a white person is nice to them or a white person they friend or a white person sleep with them, they think it's not like that no more. It's all good. With this economy and the way things are going, y'all are about to see the truth about these people in ways you've never imagined. It was all good them being cordial with us when they still had a leg up. But now that this system is getting to the point where whether you white, black, or purple, certain things are now just not obtainable or impossible or highly unlikely for you. Y'all about to see what they are really about. Black people genuinely think that white people are going to exterminate themselves for us. I never expect them to be my friend. I never expect them to make things harder on themselves for me. Why would they? I know for a fact there is no equality with them. Equality means we kick their ass and surpass them. We don't even mentally have it in us to compete with them evil for evil. Why? Because we're not fighting a scientific genetic war. They are. The most that our community is battling with genetically is black people reproducing with the whites. But as far as us and ourselves, we don't feel the need to keep our on their neck and create certain systems because we're already great. We're naturally great. We are naturally superior, naturally supreme. We're not systemically supreme. We're scientifically supreme. So when I see that, look at the little puny little Tucker Carlson. Look at him. Y'all want this man to give you any more advantage over him? Be so for real. Look at this. They're barely hanging on by a thread. They're afraid for their lives. That's what it's always been about. And if y'all think that when they're back against the wall, they're going to sit there and not take advantage of things for you, well, good luck on that. And whatever you need to tell yourself to sleep at night, honey. Okay? Whatever you need to tell yourself, go ahead and do that, okay? All right, let's continue.
Dean, and you're thinking about, how do I make my way in this increasingly competitive, maybe even ruthless country? And everywhere I go, people are telling me I'm bad because of the way I was born. What effect would that have on you? And then you flip on the tube or the...
Because y'all tell us stay away from the blacks committing all that crime and doing all that fighting. It's so angry. Wait a minute. So white boys have been told that they're the problem for 24 hours. And y'all are freaking out like, what about the effects on our young white males being attacked for being young and white? Yet, I really can't. Yet, young black males literally have to cross every T and dot every I to not look threatening, to not get dead or in jail. Black parents have to have the talk with their sons about just existing and not scaring anybody as you exist. And then if they make one wrong move, the book is thrown at them. And you're asking, what is the effect of 18-year-old white boys being told that they're bad? And y'all are talking about the effects it's going to have on them? And then turn around and told young black men, oh, you're killing each other, you're jailbirds, what's wrong with you? Do better. Now you're suddenly acknowledging how these systems can have a negative effect on the behavior and the mental of these children. You cannot make this up. The narcissism is unbelievable. You cannot be serious. And they are serious. I think that's a part about it that's just blowing my mind. Let's continue.
Internet and all these people with big jobs making big salaries who have the implied moral authority of their positions are telling you you're bad because of your skin color. And by the way, this is not a guess. Here's an example.
We have systemic racism in the United States of America. It exists today. And it's a white man's problem. White men are responsible for it, not black men.
And we have stood by to see.
And where's the lie? That's how you know that somebody seriously has a problem. When they disrespect you, and instead of focusing on how they disrespected you, they put you under a microscope and watch you of how you respond to their disrespect. And then they police your response to their disrespect. They say, not too much on that. Now, you can't do all that. No, bitch. What you do is mind your motherfucking business and don't start no shit to begin with. You're not disputing any of this. Racism is the white man's problem, not the black man's. That is a fact. You're not dispelling that. Instead, your argument is that's mean to me as a grown man. You look 60. And you're playing all these clips like, look what they're saying about us. Where's the lie, though? You're sick in the head, and this is so unbecoming of a grown man. I see why white women are running away from y'all and going to black men. Because my vagina could never see in a grown man, oh, you're hurting my feelings. Ew. Oh, look at you. Be a man. Y'all are like, oh, God, this hurts. Bitch. Grown ass 60-year-old big old white prune.
Mediocre, mealy-mouthed, snowflake white men who are incapable of taking critique, who are willing to dole out infamous repudiations of the humanity of the other, and yet they call us snowflakes, and they are the biggest flakes of snow to hit the earth.
American history is...
Boy, he ate with that. And Tucker is proving what he's saying in this video about how fragile you are. And y'all are over here ignoring that you are at the pinnacle of all the world's major issues. And your only response is, oh, this hurts my feelings. You're proving the point. The jokes write themselves. You are in the midst of proving him right, proving all of them right. What else? Let's see what else that they got to show. This is supposed to be receipts. You know you're slow when the receipts that you post prove you wrong. That's how you know. But see, when you're in a frantic position to defend, this head start you have on the rest of society, this is called desperation. If this is the most pathetic and desperate shit I've ever seen from a grown man, I don't know what is. What
Americans, by and large, have been taught to have indifference or even contempt for Black life. We have defined the country as a white nation where people of color are here on a guest pass.
1 in 3 Americans are racists. 1 in 3 Americans are terrified that this country by the year 2040 is not going to be majority white.
There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. And don't let it escape you that it is white men on this side of the aisle telling us, people of color on this side of the aisle, that y'all are the ones being oppressed.
Wake up, white men. What the fuck is wrong with you? And you're just eating it up. Oh, my God. Look at what they're doing. All of a sudden, my heritage is going to be over. That I want to live in a country where their white kids go to white schools and white people marry each other. What is wrong with that? I want to grow up in the country that my great-grandfather grew up in. That country doesn't exist anymore, asshole.
Where was the lie in any of that? I'm seriously confused. I talk about this all the time. Something can apply to you, and you can also still actively advocate against it. Where was the lie in any of this? And here he is laughing. Sir, I'm gonna hold your hand. Every receipt you just posted literally proves that you're wrong. Okay? That's what everyone is saying. Okay? You're literally hurting the whole earth. And we can't talk about it because of your feelings. And then you post these puss-ass receipts. This is so embarrassing. Honestly, take this down, Tucker. Tucker, take this down, okay? Because this is extremely pathetic. And get a new haircut. This haircut is so gross. Beside the point, but let's just continue.
So you can see why there probably are some Nick Fuentes viewers who are a little confused when they hear themselves attacked as racist. Racism is wrong. Of course, it is wrong, but they've grown up in a world where one of the leading CNN anchors is looking right into the camera. So what the fuck is wrong with you, white people? You want to be near other white people? You want to have a heritage? You want to have white children? How dare you? The CNN anchor is married.
And that's why I don't believe in that. I don't fault white people for wanting to be on their own. They should. Okay. I'm not with all that. I'm not a we are the world, all hold hands, kumbaya type of person. I don't believe in that. Okay. So that part I agree with him with. I've been saying this for years. Leave the white people alone when they want to go off and do their own thing. Let them do that. They are not wrong for that. They are not wrong for wanting to preserve their lives. They're not wrong for wanting their children to look like them. They are not wrong for not wanting to be genetically wiped out. You are wrong for not accepting that that's how they feel and moving accordingly with them. That's where you wrong at. Who the fuck expects somebody else to, at their own detriment, include you? Everybody's supposed to have a survival instinct to keep yourself and your seeds alive. That's why I don't argue with the white people about wanting their own communities and their own families. I agree. Go. You know what, Sally, Tyler, you're right. Be blessed. Blonde hair, blue eyed, white family. Move somewhere to Idaho in the Midwest. I don't care. All we ask is leave us alone. True revolutionaries understand this. I'm pro segregation. Please go into your own neighborhoods. I beg you. So that part I agree with. I don't believe in that we are the world. Oh, the white man is wrong for wanting his kids to look like him. Oh, the white man is wrong for wanting his own communities. He not wrong. You're wrong for not doing the same thing. You should want your kids look like you, and you should want to have your own communities as well. So that part I agree with. Let's continue.
A white guy, whatever. But it's a little hard to tell people that racism is wrong when you're committing it. And again, it's not just a few people. It was our entire ruling class was lecturing us about how whiteness is a disease. It's a plague. It's inherently sinful. It's the source of all evil. The president of the United States stood up and said racism is the problem, and it's only committed by whites.
Tucker, are you serious right now? Are you pulling our leg? Rage bait, because I just don't think he can be serious. Tucker, please explain to us. Because at this point, we just want to know. So, Tucker, who invented racism then? Who invented genocide? Whose idea was colonialism? Whose idea was slavery? Notice how he doesn't say whose fault it is. He just says, so it's all our fault. Well, if it's not all your fault, Tucker, then whose fault is it? And please do not play with our intelligence by trying to get up here and say that racism is about people saying we don't like white people. Anybody saying we don't like white people has zero power over a white person's life. It don't change your education. It don't change where you live. It doesn't take anything away from your opportunities in life. It doesn't affect your children. That's not racism. That's called discrimination, maybe bigotry. Racism is specifically where you can affect this person's life because of their color due to your color. If the Yarmulke people are ultimately in power, what color are they? This is why I don't feed into that separation between whites and the Yarmulkes. Bitch, I wouldn't know what religion you was. All I would know is you are the white. But if you let them play that game with you on there's the whites and then the Yarmulkes, this is what they end up doing. Now they're trying to separate from the Yarmulkes and saying, we're not the oppressors, the Yarmulkes are. I can't tell y'all apart. Y'all all the same people. You can put a yarmulke on it, a menorah on it, all you want to. Y'all still the same people. So factually, at the root of it all, yes, it's you. Now you're going to play the game of racism is about whether or not you're nice to someone. Let's go ahead and see the game that they're going to play now. He literally is contradicting himself throughout the whole video.
It's a white man problem. Is racism only committed by whites? No, and everyone knows that. Hating other people is a human problem, one that every person struggles with, hopefully struggles against, because it's wrong. It's always wrong. Anti-Semitism is wrong. It's every bit as wrong as what you just saw. It's every bit as anti-Black racism or anti-Malaysian racism. It doesn't matter. Hating people for how they were born is wrong. It's called a universal principle. This country is founded on universal principles. They apply to everyone equally. That's the promise of America. That is Western civilization. If you could sum it up in a sentence, what is Western civilization? Well, it's a civilization governed by universal principles. Everyone can be saved. No one is damned by his nature. And hating any group, because that's true, hating any group is by definition immoral. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened. It happens all the time, of course, because it's the default setting in the human heart. But we need to struggle against it. Maybe not ban it. Hard to ban attitudes. And once you get down that road, you become totalitarian immediately.
Hold on. Let's fast forward to the next point. Hold on. I was about to fast forward, and then he said another point that I wanted to
struggle against
look at.
Oh, wait.
Hold on. I don't try to put it on 2x speed because I'm like, I just cannot handle the victimhood here. Here we go.
Hard to ban attitudes. And once you get down that road, you become totalitarian immediately. But say it's wrong. And if it's not wrong in every case, then it can't really be wrong, can it? If it's not a universal principle, then it's not a principle.
So let me get this straight. So his whole thing is the white man being racist is not wrong because other people are racist toward the white man. And so if it's not always wrong, then it's not wrong at all when the white man does it. Boy, Simone Biles couldn't get through these gymnastics over here. This is the equivalent of, unaliving someone. And you can't say, oh, if it's wrong one time, it's wrong all the time. Nice try. And you got to look at how the white man is. If he's like this on public platforms where millions of people can hear him and he's gaslighting like this, I see why their women think they're oppressed and run from them in droves. Imagine how they are behind closed doors with their women and children. If they are this gaslighting and full of no accountability in front of the whole world, can you imagine what they're like at home with their families? So you're saying if y'all are racist towards us, then it's wrong too. There is a difference between unaliving someone for fun and unaliving someone in self-defense. Okay. You can't just say, oh, unaliving someone is wrong. So it's wrong all the time. No, it's not. If someone is trying to unalive you, unaliving them first is self-defense. If someone is trying to harm your children, unaliving them is protecting your children. So it's so gross to see how y'all so willfully obtuse. Y'all just play dumb whenever you want to, saying, well, we're not wrong for racism because y'all be racist towards us too. So therefore we're not wrong. No. I don't want to hear. I'm the bad guy. Gross. Come on, now you're a grown adult. You don't really believe that. Stop.
And so how can my racism be worse than your racism? Well, of course it can't.
How can the white man's racism be worse than the black man's racism? Are you serious? That man said, how can the white man's racism be worse than anybody else's racism? You cannot make this up. Billions of people unalived at his hands, yet and still to this day. Redlining, slavery, rape, genocide, selling humans, feeding babies to alligators, cannibalism, incest. And y'all are like, no, it's not worse than anyone else. That's why I don't deal with them. That's why I don't talk to them. I don't argue with them. I hate when I see black people say they just need to be educated. They're just ignorant. They don't have the education. Ma'am, I'm going to hold your hand. This is about life or death. They know. They're purposely playing dumb. I don't educate them unless they pay me. I hate when white people be like, don't hate me, educate me. Well, how much you got? It ain't free over here. I can't stand when they think you're supposed to take time out your schedule to educate them. No, humble yourself. Go teach yourself. Or if you want one of us to teach you, pay. Money first. The audacity. Well, how is the white man racism worse than anyone else racism? What? What?
So the people lecturing Fuentes viewers for something that is wrong, hating all Jews is wrong, totally wrong, don't have the moral authority to make the case because they've been engaging in this in public and in private for the entire lifetime of Nick Fuentes' viewers.
Here's the part that I want y'all to hear. This is the dog whistle.
So it's hard to take them seriously. And by the way, you can tell exactly where this is going. It's going toward violence, tribal warfare. That's the last thing you want. That's why this is a great country. That's why it's exceptional, because we haven't had that. And why haven't we had that? Because we have self-consciously and out loud said, these are universal principles that apply to every human being because every human being was created by God in God's image. That's it right there. That's a Christian understanding of the human soul. There's been a lot of noise.
Nigga, what? So, why I've been telling you, he dog whistling. He is telling us, I told y'all, I said, woohoo. Them men are not going down without a fight. Growing up, what I noticed about the white people, their number one stripe was the white children, even growing up in school. The number one thing that would set them off is if somebody else got something they didn't. If you got 3 cookies and they got 2, The black child would be more prone to just be happy with the 2 cookies they got, eat it, and shut up. The white child would implode. Well, how come you got 3 cookies and I only got 2? White people are that way to such an extent that they will say, well, y'all call each other the N-word. Why can't I call you? They do not know how to handle any type of inequality. They crash out and crash and burn if they remotely, in any way, shape, or form, think that someone is discriminating against them or giving them some type of disadvantage. They lose it. So this is what we need to worry about. This is what he's dog whistling about, saying, well, it's a shame. This is going to lead to violence. I'm telling y'all, that's the direction it's coming. If y'all think the white man going down without a fight, and now this system is set up where can't nobody buy no house and have the American dream, there ain't no middle class, things are just rising and more expensive. If y'all think they're going to just eat that, take that, and figure it out, you're crazy. They are foreshadowing. They are dog whistling. They are letting us know what they are going to do. That's them saying, we'll burn. If we ain't getting it, ain't none of us getting it. That's their way of saying that. And that's what we need to be looking out for. Let me show y'all this other part I wanted to go over with y'all real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, here's the next part that I found to be super funny. Here we go. Watch this. Every time I think it can't get no worse, it does.
Wait a second. This is mayor of the biggest city. Just said he's gonna tax white people more. Well, you're just saying that because you're white. No, I'm saying it because I'm a human being and a Christian, and that's not acceptable. Your leaders can't talk or think that.
Now, I don't even like Mom Donnie, but that is not what he meant. Okay, it's so gross to just dangerously oversimplify all of this. Okay, nobody sat there and said it literally is impossible to be like, oh, I'm taxing you more because you're white. Stop it. No, it's about during all those times during racism, Jim Crow, redlining, and everything else. It's about how y'all were able to buy up real estate in that city at a point where we were responsible for building it, but we couldn't own anything in it by your doing. Now y'all are sitting on these properties with ridiculous amounts of equity, okay, that you don't already paid off and everything else. And so when they say, listen, because y'all don't pass this brownstone or this apartment down 4 or 5 generations, now it's paid off, y'all living rent-free, scot-free, people are saying, oh, now you need to still contribute. And all you get from that is you're taxing me because I'm white. Not I'm white and my forefathers created a system where we were the only ones who could own real estate in that city. And now we're rich and profiting off of it. And it's time to even a playing field. That's the correct way to put that. Instead, this dog whistle trying to get all the young white men angry, they're taxing us more because we're white. Oh, so cute.
That way. Or else it all just falls apart. And in a country that's the size of a continent with 50 component parts, it could fall apart really, really fast and become super, super ugly. And we are right on the brink of that. Why are they misogynists? Maybe because you told them the hormones they were born with were toxic. What are they supposed to do with that? Transition? Well, a lot of them did. Cut your dick off. The ultimate sign of bowing before authority. You're right. I'll self-castrate. And again, a lot did. But what about the ones who didn't want to self-castrate? Where are they? Well, they're pissed. And they're pissed at you. They're mad at you, and they have every good reason to be mad at you. Period. The third lesson we should take from the fact that Nick Fuentes, who everyone's busy done, Nick Fuentes, he's the problem. Right? Yeah, he's the problem. Some 27-year-old goes, he's the problem. No, you're the problem, actually. And the third factor in his popularity is the fact, the uncontestable fact that the economy, the rest of us in our 50s, 60s, and 70s, people have all the money, have created, is destroying young people. Just a fact. And it's not just that they can't have, the place in Greenwich and the place in Jackson Hole. It's not, they can't have any place. They can't have anything. They can't own anything. And rather than even spend a day thinking through, how do we fix this? The answer is, well, we'll just import people who are grateful for what they're getting here, because the differential between what they got at home and got here is pretty big. Look, if you're from Oaxaca,
Oh, you mean the same way that white supremacy will give a few coon Negroes a few dollars or a few seats at their table, like Candace Owens, so that you can now parade them in front of our people and say, look, it's a black person right here, and they're trying to tell y'all that nothing's holding y'all back and white people aren't bad. It's not even our fault. We weren't even there. You mean like how y'all do that? So the same thing, once again, we were gaslit about is the same tactics now being used on you. And that's what I mean by white supremacy is eating itself. Y'all have done the same thing with the black community for I don't know how long. Y'all will go look into our people and find whoever is willing to sell us up the river for their own pockets. And then you will suddenly say that they are now the standard. And that all of us are tripping because look at Candace Owens. Look at what's his name? I can't even keep track at this point. So the same tactics used against us, you are now complaining are being used against you. Got it.
or Bangalore, like not owning a home in your 30s is fine. You never expected to own a home anyway. So you're just happy to be here, and you're grateful to people who brought you, and you'll vote for them. That is literally their thinking, and it's demonstrable. It's their thinking. But for people who were born here, what a betrayal! What a terrible betrayal! And
betrayal is such a strong word. Wow, unbelievable. Okay, one more thing I want to show y'all. I'm gonna fast forward. I'm gonna find to that because this video is getting long. But by then now, my video is always long. Okay, it just is what it is. Okay, here we go.
an overview of it.
Buying a home has never been harder. The average first-time buyer is now 40 years old, and it's more expensive to own. Nationally, the median price of a home is $415,000, up more than 50% since 2019. If you buy that average price home now, the payment is roughly $2,000 a month. When you pay it off in 30 years, it would have cost you about $657,000. Just 6 years ago, you'd have paid $1,500 a month and about $563,000 total. The dream of owning a home is causing some Americans to rethink important milestones. A new survey by Coldwell Banker finds 71% of aspiring homeowners are postponing at least one life decision, like getting married, having kids, or making career moves until they can afford to buy a home.
So they can't afford houses. Probably the top issue for young men in their 20s and 30s are a lot of issues. By the way, at a time when they can't buy a home, the idea of sending money to a foreign country, particularly Israel, but all countries, any country, Sudan, France, pretty offensive because it is, after all, their government. They pay for it. You know, why wouldn't it offend them?
You mean like how this is our country that we built for free? And then when we're just asking, not even for a piece of a pie, but to leave our pie alone. Every single time we try to have our own communities and do for ourselves, y'all bomb it, get in our business, care, and everything else. And so when we say the audacity, we built this whole country for free. We never got paid. We still won our money. Y'all say it was a long time ago. You ain't the one that built it. Why does it matter? But now you're over here saying the exact same thing. Now you're saying, oh, well, it's not fair because it's their government and it's their country. Wow. Wow. Now all of a sudden, it's the system is why you can't buy a home. When forever you told us that the system cannot affect that. And speaking of buying a home, I want to show you all this. This woman did this video, and I found this to be very interesting. And it goes into this conversation that we're having about how do white people want to ignore why they're in the position that they're in now, why we're in the position we're in now. Let me show y'all this because this is extremely important. This is a small example of what I'm talking about. Give me a second. Right. I want y'all to listen to this story for me.
And on both sides of my family, we do not have any massive generational wealth. My mom's father is the only one of my 4 grandparents who we got any sort of generational wealth inherited from. And 99% of the wealth that we inherited from my grandfather was from selling his house. My grandfather was born in 1926 in rural North Carolina, and he was a 6'3" white man with blue eyes. And other than being white, my grandfather didn't have that many privileges. He was one of like 7 children. His mom didn't even get to high school level education.
And that's irrelevant in itself because the advantage is being white. Why is it the privilege and advantage? Well, number one is because that means that nobody's putting a backpack full of bricks on your back and telling you to make it in spite of that. The mere thought, the mere fact that the white man is simply just left alone to handle his life and do what he want to do is the privilege. Okay, you can't say the only privilege is whiteness. That's the only privilege you need, because at the very least, everything else you do is based upon your own two hands and your own 2 feet and the work you put in. And you will not have anyone or anything systemically trying to make that harder on you. That is all the privilege you need. Let's continue.
Education. And his dad never went to college. They were not privileged in most other ways that we define privilege, but he was a white male in a very, very racist country. What his whiteness allowed him to do was work his way through college. At the time, there were colleges that weren't accepting Black people, and he was accepted to college as long as he could pay for it. And he...
Once again, let's talk about that. Excluding us from educational opportunities. Let's clock it in this video.
Ended up getting a law degree and becoming very successful. And again, never hoarded any significant wealth, but bought a house outside of Washington, D.C. in the 50s. In a neighborhood that was redlined. And actually my mom, who was born in the 60s, remembers in the 70s when the first Black family moved into their neighborhood.
Red line. We all know what redlining is. Redlining means, in a nutshell, this investment, this land is for the white man and not for no one else. Boom. For anyone who don't know what it is, that's what it means. It means, hey, we're going to use over this for the white man to get him ahead. Y'all can't get in here. Okay? Pay attention. Let's continue.
Because it had literally been sectioned off and realtors would not sell to Black families. And my mom, who is 58 years old, went to a year of segregated school. So for all of you saying it was so long ago, everyone has equal rights now, get over it. My mom remembers when the first Black student joined her class in the 70s in Alexandria, Virginia.
My mom was desegregated her middle school. Okay. I'm so glad we're talking about this. I just saw an article that the last survivor of the Tulsa race massacre just passed away. Like, there's people that were still alive that survived it. This is what I mean by the gaslighting. And sometimes I'm so glad that the white man treats his women so bad, because if anybody going to open their mouth and rip open the truth about them people, it's going to be a white woman. I love that they're doing this. Yes. We should use the same things on us they use on them, they use on us. Infiltrate your people through your women. Okay, so I'm so glad the white women are finally coming through and speaking on this, what I'm talking about. There we go, equality.
In 2015, my grandfather died, and we sold his house that he bought for around $100,000 in the 50s, and we sold it for $1 million. That money was divided among his children, and my family was able to get out of a lot of debt, and it completely reset my ability to go to private versus public school, my ability to afford tutors, my ability to become the educated person that I am. And it was all really because I have a white grandfather. Let me finish. Had my grandfather been Black and had all of the other skills and background that he had, he couldn't have gone to the schools that he went to. He wouldn't have been hired in the jobs that he was. And he couldn't have bought the house that he did, that, 65 years later, put his family out of debt. So if anyone tries to tell you it's not that deep, it really is that deep. It goes so far back. Any small privilege that a white person has is probably, to some degree, due to their whiteness. And if you are a white person who has roots in the South, you definitely should have white guilt, and you definitely should be doing the work to understand how your privilege affects the people around you and how you can help level the playing field. And everyone tried to get all particular about these specific situations where a Black person might have a privilege or a woman might have a privilege over a man. Those are isolated situations you're bringing up. We're talking about large scale, mass, systematic issues. Now, yeah, legally, Black people and white people should have the same exact rights and privileges. But they're playing catch up, because if my family, like I said, had been Black, we would never have gotten out of debt in 2015. I would never have been able to afford the school that I went to and live the lifestyle that I'm living right now. I am white. And
there we go. There we go. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah. Small example right there. Small example right there. So, I don't know what she mean by level the playing field. So naive. I think they just say that to sound good, because, honey, do you know what it would really take? Leveling the playing field would mean your demise. Okay. So see, when the white man like Tucker Carlson sits there and out of all of this, all he gets from this is y'all are hurting my feelings. This is why it's such a problem. And the fact that the white man refuses to accept that you, number one, owning the system and you not having anything systemically attempting to make things difficult for you, that alone is the privilege. That is enough for you to be able to sit down and eat your unseasoned chicken and be quiet. This is why y'all need to be quiet right now. And when the rest of the world says, hey, shut up, whatever y'all ain't got, it's your own fault. Y'all had plenty of opportunity. We don't want to hear it. Now y'all are getting ready to tribalize, getting ready to get violent, and saying these are fighting words to silence everybody. Okay. So, I'm just sitting back. I'm watching these white folks crumble. I'm watching the white man's demise like right before our eyes. I'm not getting involved. I'm just over here with popcorn. I'm just eating the popcorn, watching the white fragility. It's kind of, man, it's just interesting to see. And so I want to know, what do y'all think? Okay. If y'all have any examples, any comments of maybe things have happened in your family that expound upon this? Do y'all think I'm being harsh? Do y'all think the white man has a point? Do y'all agree or not? I want y'all to please let me know in the comments. I also want you to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Okay. Like the video, and I will see y'all on the next one.